We back with the Box Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to the LDBC, Lions Den Box community, and the YTBC and everybody in between. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow, and we talking about boxing's all duck team. In my opinion, this is my perspective. I could be missing a duck or two or three or four, because a lot of fighters out here ducking, but it's my all boxing duck team. And I'll tell you who I think is the biggest duck of all. You got Danny Swift Garcia, you got Sean Showtime Porter, you got Anthony Ducks, Sir Ducks Joshua, you got Leo Santa Cruz, King Duck himself, and Demetrius Duck Andrade. There's probably some people out there forgetting, people saying Tank Duck and Lomachenko and Tevin and other people out there, but this is the people I'm focused on. This is the biggest ducks in boxing. I start off with Danny Garcia, just saying that, ever since Danny Garcia fought Lucas Matisse, man, he really been ducking the competition. His hunger has been fulfilled. I feel like he's not as hungry as he once was coming up, fighting Nate Campbell, Kendall Hart, Eric Morales, Zab Judah, Lucas Matisse. He wasn't hungry no more. After the Matisse fight, it was the turn of Danny Garcia, losing his hunger and fire to be great. And, it is what it is. He hasn't sought out the best competition. The old Danny Garcia, seeked out the best competition. This Danny Garcia, it'll tell a lot where his mind is if he end up taking the Pacquiao fight or he end up fighting Sean Porter when he really don't have to. He could wait for Keith Thurman. It'll tell a lot, but, he high on the duck radar. Then you talk about Sean Porter, been sounding real duckalicious of late. When it comes to Earl Spence, he was sounding real tough with Keith, and some of the, explanations that him and his dad Kenny are coming up with just don't add up. 1 + 1 = 2, and what they doing, it's not adding up, man. Really not. You paid $200,000 to the WBC. If you paid $200,000 to the WBC, you're a damn fool. Because nobody sanctioned nobody's fees that much. You must have mailed them a check just to have an opportunity to fight Keith Thurman, and you have to wait for Keith Thurman. If you lose, that's $200,000 you could have kept in your pocket. And then they saying that Al Heyman is protecting Keith Thurman, or this is the guy that we not looking at, or we just focus on Keith Thurman. At the end of the day, they just making themselves look terrible. Asking interviewers not to ask about Keith Thurman before they give an interview. About Earl Spence before they give an interview. It's not looking good, for them. But I elaborate a little bit more on everything I'm going over and explain my list. But some more. But Anthony Joshua, of course, he's ducking. He ducked Luis Ortiz. He ducked Deontay Wilder. And a lot of people just hate Wilder, so they gonna rationalize why Anthony Joshua, needs to duck. People say, "Oh, it'll happen," and I'll segue into another video about why fans feel obligation to wait for big fights to happen and just sit and wait. But yeah, he ducked 2 fighters. He wasn't gonna fight Luis Ortiz, and Puev said he wasn't even ready to fight. So, he was just playing with Ortiz, and basically, my premise on this, or my hypothesis on this is, Carlos Takam was always going to be the fight for October for Anthony Joshua. He was just trying to save him face with Puev and hold the mandatory with Puev, because if he didn't fight Puev, he had to face the WBA mandatory because Luis Ortiz let, Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua fight for the WBA belt when he was ordered to face Vladimir Klitschko, and Klitschko ducked Ortiz, and then eventually Joshua ducked Ortiz, he failed the drug test, but he's going to fight Puev. Really, Carlos take him the whole time. So, Anthony Joshua got a nice career ducking already 2 main fighters, but it is what it is. People going to try to spin it how they going to spin it. A duck is a duck, however you look at it. Talking about Leo Santa Cruz, the King Duck, obviously, he was the leader of the duck school with ducking Rigondeaux, and with him, Mares, Frampton, Quigg all moving up and running from Rigondeaux. He is yet to face, stiff competition. For real, only reason he fought Carl Frampton because his American debut, he got put on the canvas a few times. He felt confident, lost to Frampton. Then Frampton gave him a rematch in L.A., basically his own backyard. Then he don't want to give Frampton his rubber match. He don't want to fight Gary Russell. He don't want to fight Frampton. He don't want to fight Selby. He don't want to fight Oscar Valdez. He just want to fight, guys like Abdul Maras and construction workers. And, he's one of the most Al Heyman's protected fighters. When Oscar De La Hoya got the rights to Leo Santa Cruz after he came back, he was proceeding to make the Rigondeaux fight, and Al Heyman bought him from Golden Boy again. That just shows you how protected he is. And Demetrius Andrade is is definitely up there with the pantheon of duck greats. You know, putting up on guys at press conferences, then pulling out of fights, and then not being active. I mean, shit, you know, he just ducked Sergey Shinchenko. You know, guy with 12 fights that could have made him the IBF mandatory to Triple G's IBF belt. And he says that he don't want to fight him. He said he don't want to fight Billy Joe Saunders because Billy Joe Saunders, you know, he felt like he was too physically big for him right now. He said, oh, I like Gary Spike O'Sullivan. Some of the things that come out of Demetrius Andrade's mouth is crazy. And obviously, he's ducking, you know, actually fighting. You know, he don't want to fight. HBO is willing to put the money up for him and Shevchenko. He wiggled his way out of it. I mean, he just don't want to be consistent. He don't want to fight. I think he really scared to lose or whatever it may be. But, you know, all these guys are top ducks of their day. For me, for a long time, Leo Santa Cruz was the absolute truth, you know, of ducking. He was the indicative of ducking. He was the definition of ducking. To me, he's still the biggest duck out the bunch, man. Because I can see Danny Garcia, you know, eventually fighting Earl Spence if push come to shove. I can see Sean Porter as push come to shove fighting Earl Spence. I mean, Danny Garcia fighting Earl Spence. So I see them two fighting Earl Spence. Push come to shove, I think Anthony Joshua eventually, you know, will fight Deontay Wilder. If Wilder doesn't lose or he doesn't lose. I think eventually I see it happening. You know, Demetrius Andrade, Leo Santa Cruz, I just think they're a tie for the greatest ducks of their time. I think it's a legit tie. Leo Santa Cruz is very protected. He gets a pass like no other. He gets a pass similar to what Joshua is getting for Deontay Wilder, and it's on a different level because, you know, he's on 126 pounds. He's smaller weight class. Maybe people don't pay attention, but you don't hear Mexicans flipping on Leo Santa Cruz. And this dude has one of the most piss poor resumes of late. He ain't fought, you know, no champions for real. Every champion he fought is like, you know, smaller than him. You know, Frampton is significantly smarter than him and had a horrible U.S. debut, and that's what really caught Santa Cruz attention. I mean, Gary Russell's been calling him out. He don't want no smoke. They share the same advisor. And Al Hammond protects him like no other. He took a lot of TV time up, you know, Mayweather undercards and Canelo undercards, fighting nobodies and underperforming. And, you know, he's shitty boo-boo. I don't think he's good at all. You know, that's just my opinion. Andrade, obviously, he don't want to, you know, he don't want to compete, you know. And I think that's worse, you know, than with Leo Santa Cruz. At least Leo Santa Cruz, he'll fight every now and again and stay pretty active. So the new king of ducks, the captain of the Boxing's All Duck team right now, Demetrius Andrade, for the simple fact that he don't want to stay active, and he got a 3-fight deal with HBO, and he's still ducking and pulling out a fight.